Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go live in five, four, three, two, one. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm LBJ. You're there and I'm here, and you're listening to the Heartfelt Truth. Welcome. Let me start off by saying, as I always do, that I hope my voice finds you in good health, spiritually, mentally, and physically. Not necessarily in that order, but all equally important to help us through this thing we call life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me start off by saying thank you for allowing me to come into your life for the next few minutes. I hope you find my voice somewhat inspirational, a little motivational, and just gives you another way of looking at things. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to jump right into it. Today's show, we're going to talk about something I think that is really important, something that we've all gone through at one time or another in our lives, and that is fear of the unknown, moving forward. And today we're going to dive into the conversation of the fear of the unknown and fear of change. And on the show today, you will hear some famous quotes from some famous people on the subject of moving forward and fear of the unknown, which all wraps itself around the idea of chasing those goals, dreams, and aspirations that you have. And if you're the type of person that might have been going through some of this in your life, as we all have, then I think today's show's for you. And at the end of it all, what I want to do is I want to give you a couple suggestions, some action steps that you could even take today. You know, just one little baby step. And one step leads into another step and so forth and so on. And you can gradually step into that area, that fear of the unknown, okay, moving forward towards those goals and dreams and aspirations. Okay, let's start off. You know, when I was a young man, like we all have, you know, young men, young women, we all have dreams, goals, and aspirations. And you know what happened is we all want to be successful. We all want to contribute something to the world. And what happens is a lot of times we just don't know how to go about it, and we don't know which direction, let alone what do we want to do with our careers, our lives, and pretty much trying to find your why. Okay, because you know, at the end of the day, you know, people don't realize, you know, young people, teenagers, you don't know exactly what you want to do with your life. And you know, always, you know, people saying you got to have passion, you know, you got to have all this drive and everything. And the bottom line is a lot of it comes from just how you feel. You know, what do you feel like doing? And along those feelings, you have to have a love for what you want to do. All right. So when you're chasing goals and dreams and aspirations, sometimes, especially as young people, you don't have an idea, and it becomes very challenging, and it's very fearful. I mean, I know for myself as a young man when I graduated high school, I will never forget the fact that I was sitting in the stadium, and it was a great day, a celebratory day. I was the first of my mother's children to graduate high school and to set the trend, the mark for my siblings behind me. But I was fearful because that protective hedge around me, which we call high school, was being removed. And I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I had an idea of the things I liked doing, but I didn't know which way I was going. And then, of course, there were family members who would try to encourage you and tell you what you think you should be doing. I'll give you a perfect example. When I went to college, still unfamiliar about what I wanted to do, and I'm going to put it out there. You know, full disclaimer. You know, I've always had a thing for performing, and I remember saying I wanted to be an actor. And back in the day, this was not practical. I mean, I think every family member looked at me and like, are you crazy? You just graduated high school. You're going to college. You got to find a profession that you can lock your feet into and just move forward and make some money. So my aunt and my mother had decided to come up with this plan, and they wanted me to become a physical therapist. And it sounded good, and I wasn't accepted to the program because it was still early. I was had to get my first 2 years under my belt. But as I was in college and I was taking a couple of these preliminary classes, I was not happy. And then I remember seeing a sign. There was an audition for a play, and I actually just went over there just on a whim. I literally went over and auditioned for this play, and I got a call back. I was like, "What?" I said, "No way." So at that point in time, I was sold. I was like, "Guys, I'm on the wrong track." And so what happened is I wound up doing a show and everything, and I remember calling my mother on the phone. This was a real shit. I was sitting in the dorm, and I had a friend of mine who was there with me, and I was struggling with the fact of, wow, what am I going to tell my family? What am I going to tell my family? And and she said, just tell him, get on the phone and just tell him. So I remember the phone call vaguely, but pretty close. That my mother, I called her on the phone. I says, "Ma, listen, I have something to tell you. I'm changing my major." And she says, "Okay, honey. Well, what are you thinking about?" I says, "I'm going to change it to theater." And like, not saying the phone dropped and being over dramatic, but there was this dead silence on the phone, as if to say, "What are you going to do with theater? I thought you were going to be a physical therapist, in the medical field." And so forth and so on. And eventually, I mean, that didn't work out. So I never became a physical therapist. And I did proceed with my theater and English major. So the point I'm trying to get to, and that was a roundabout way of telling the story, that you have to follow your heart. And the fact of the matter is that we are very, very, very fearful of the unknown. And it's something that you have to really work on and not allow other people to dictate your story. And as you will learn through this thing we call life, there are many channels and many roads that you're going to travel down. And I think it does take a little bit of time to find out exactly which way you want to go and what your true passion is and what is something that you really love you want to do. Now, I have to say this, there are things in this life that you were just meant to do. And you, I believe, in your heart of hearts, your feeling, your gut feeling will tell you what it is. If you find yourself wanting to do something and you can't stop thinking about it, and all you want to do is just be involved in that particular thing. And if it's a thing that you're willing to do without even being paid for, that's your calling. That is the true definition of a calling. Now, people, I'm also not saying that we don't have to aspire to have money. That's not what it is, because we need that thing to live, take care of our families, and so forth. But that is not your main function. Your main function should not be about how much money I'm going to make. It should be about how you feel and what you want to contribute to the world. Okay, what we're going to do now is I want to read a few of famous quotes from some famous people on the subject of fear of the unknown. And I want them to inspire you to move forward in the direction of your dreams and your calling. Now, ironically, this quote here is actually from a book that I am almost finished with, and it's called The Alchemist, and it's by Pablo Coelho. And this one is, there is only one thing that makes a dream impossible to achieve: the fear of failure. And I think this one here is actually pretty cool. With the fear of the unknown is change before you have to, and that's by Jack Walsh. And of course, this is a book that I read in college many, many years ago by Norman Vincent Peale. Obviously, it just timeless. If you change your thoughts, you change your world. I think that is just an amazing, amazing statement. Everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing themselves. And that's by Leo Tolstoy. And there are so many, many interesting quotes by very famous people who are some of the greatest minds of the 20th and 21st century. Let me just give you one more. And I want to share this one because actually I read his book, and I still to this day find him to be a very, very interesting person where everybody does in a difference of opinion. And his quote is, "To improve is to change. To be perfect is to change often," by Winston Churchill. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So listen, I think we've kind of touched the base, and you get the idea of what I'm talking about. We have to move from the place of fear of the unknown into some, just do it. Just put your foot out there and, go after those dreams and goals that you've really been kind of hesitant about. And I can put myself in that ring. I've done the same thing, and you don't want time to go by. And next thing you know, you turn around and, 20, 30 years later, you look behind you and say, you know what? Back there, I should have taken some action. And I didn't. There's nothing worse than looking back and saying, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Okay, so here's what we're going to do today. What I want you to do today, okay, and this is nothing that is going to be mind-blowing. It's going to set you back, make you crazy or anything like that. What I want you to do is today is to take one little baby step. I want you to make one change today, all right, moving forward towards your dreams, goals, and your aspirations. One little thing. I don't care what it is make a phone call to start reading that book that's interesting. Have a conversation about what it is you really want to do. Make some change today. Get up a little earlier. And as I said before, I believe it in my heart of hearts, the universe does reward you. I am no guru on this subject, but I will tell you this, that the universe rewards you on your action. And if you put it out into the universe is working its way and it's working its idea and magic to give you exactly what you want. That's how this thing works. So if you put it out into the universe, give an example, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to travel here. I want this there. The universe, once the universe hears that, it automatically goes into action to help you achieve that goal. So as I've always said, I am not telling you how to live your life. These are all suggestions and ideas for you to move forward. You only know what you need to do today. But I am telling you, take one small baby step. Again, make a phone call, pick up a book, get up early, just put it out into the world. Tell yourself, this is what I want to do. And just do it. And watch what happens. And every day after that, one baby step. I started this thing with one little show. And I'm already at almost 200. Step by step by step. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, if you have any comments or any feedback, anything at all, please reach out for me. You can contact me on Facebook, Twitter, and also you can reach out for me at lbj@heartfelttruth.net. Please subscribe. Also, Stitcher Radio, Spotify, iTunes. Please subscribe and give me your comments, your feedback. Reach out for me. There's my information on there. If you want to call, you have any questions, share your story with me so we can share it with the world. And ladies and gentlemen, as I always say, please take care of yourself. Take care of your families, because family is so important. And if you see someone that needs a helping hand, stick yours out and try to help them. I believe this one act really, really will make the world a better place. And it's going to be one of those things that help you on your journey to becoming the best person you were meant to be. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm LBJ. You're there, and I'm here. And you've been listening to The Heartfelt Truth. We'll talk again.